Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Jupiter's Bible Study. It's been so long. I hope anyone listening to this is doing really well. I hope that God is with you and blessing you in the things that you want to do in your life and the better person that you aim to be. I have great news to report that I did get a part-time job. I was coming on here and I was kind of posting videos about my journey. And I thought it would be cool because sometimes when we go through stuff, we don't or we aren't able to capture the journey. We aren't able to capture something as important as voice notes about where we were at that time in that month. And so, but I found that as I was going through the storm, waiting, battling my own demons, I just didn't want to post. And I made a decision not to because I didn't want to put this pressure on myself to post. And, you know, when I come on here and I talk to you, I want it to be something fulfilling and fun and informative, or just, overall, just something I enjoy. So I was like kind of having moments where I would rack my brain, like, okay, what am I going to talk about? What am I going to talk about? And that's not, of course, everybody goes through that, but it should be natural. And so I'm back now because I feel like I have a little bit more stability in my life. I have went through a lot with when you're coming off something, whether you smoke cigarettes or you eat too much ice cream or you eat too much candy, you have to experience yourself just not on whatever it is you're addicted to, whatever it is that you're drawn to. And it was a new experience for me. And I just had to get my bearings. I had to be patient with myself, and I had to, just see myself sound better, know what to do with my time, go through, fishing through the weeds of confusion. If you've ever been confused, if you've ever been, say you're on a new regimen or you're taking something new, right? If you've ever went through moments of confusion where you want things to be clear and they aren't, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about and how you have to give it time and you have to see yourself through and, be prepared that, hey, this may not work. I may have to try something else. And then who wants to go through, depending on what it is, who wants to go through starting over? Because our bodies have to get acclimated with anything that we do. If we start working out, our bodies have to get acclimated with, like, okay, we're waking up at this time, or we're working out at this time during the day. We're using muscles that we haven't used. There's a soreness in our body that we've never felt. So anytime you're doing anything new, whether it's good or bad, your body has to get adjusted to it. And so I'm really happy to report that I have a job. But actually, I was actually getting to a place in my faith where I wasn't focused on getting a job. I remember a lot of prayer requests of me asking for a job, but then I had to do this simple thing. And trust me, it's not simple. It's actually harder to do, even though it's such a simple thing when a person says it. But I had to trust God. I had to trust that He heard me, and the number one thing that you need when you pray is patience. Patience and forgiveness of yourself when you get frustrated. Because we all get frustrated when we're in that limbo or when we're waiting for something to happen, right? And we don't know if it's going to go in our way or not. Just because we ask something doesn't mean that God is going to bless us with it. he may not think that that's good, or he may not think that that's for you, or he may have something else for you. And so I had to not only be patient to wait for his response, but also brace myself that it may not be what I want. It may not work out. What I want may not be granted to me. And then, of course, I got to this stage where I started considering the bad things that I've done in my life. And I just got to a point where I kind of got down, and I look at it as I humbled myself. And I basically let God know that, look, if you don't want to give me anything, if you don't want me to work, if you want me to be poor, I will be it. Because my thing is that I don't want God to think, and I don't want to convince myself that this is a transactional relationship where he gives me something and then I obey him. That's not what it is. And that's what I never wanted to become. And maybe there's been times in my life where it was just that. It was me maybe it was transactional and I didn't know, or maybe I knew, who knows? I can't really think back that far. But all I know is that I want to pray to God, not just for things, but to pray to him for people. And not just for people, but I want to pray to him to let him know that, hey, I am here, your humble servant, ready as you have made me, and as ready as I can be, right? Because I won't say that I have everything I need equipped. It's not that I'm not, because I am. I have the word. I know a way to communicate with God is praying. But I'm just saying, I don't have all of everything I need, I'm sure. But I'm saying that, like, I'm here for God. How you're just like, hey, I'm here. Like, if you want to talk, because, like, God is not going to talk to me. He talked to prophets. He talked to I always say, I just said this recently. I just said this recently that the most interactive time between God and his people was in that Bible, was in that book. Because, and I'm not saying that God doesn't speak to people. Don't get me wrong. I don't know. But I know that, like, that was the most interactive time. They had the ark, and God spoke through prophets and to his people. And, it's just a funny thing, because it's like, it's not like we would listen. We would probably be much like the people in the Bible where we wouldn't necessarily listen just because something came from God. Because, of course, our vanity, what we want, always gets in the way. And how we think it should go, or what we think. We always look to, this place has a king. Why don't we have a king? And, we compare ourselves, and we're still doing it to this day, but just in different ways, right? We look at people that have more money and more, and we compare ourselves to them. We want half or a sprinkle of what they have, just to come off like as if we're keeping up with something that we have that we're not. We're not keeping up with, people that have more or have access to more sooner than us. It may hit the stores later. They've had it for 5 years. So, there's just no keeping up in actuality. But, I don't want my relationship with God to be transactional. Hey, I'll be good if you do this for me. No, I don't. So what I ended up doing, and what I learned to do, was to start trusting in him. Stop stressing, stop worrying, stop, I didn't want it to be, because I had these moments where when I would come to him, it would be like sort of like I was tired. And I was like, oh no, this is not me praying to God, me being tired of going to him. I want to go to him out of joy, with joy, and, just talking to him, like, and not because I need something, not because something bad is happening, but because I have that relationship with him. And I've been saying thank you a lot, been very grateful to God because I feel like He's blessed me with this peace that I did not have before. And I've struggled to get to this place. Don't get me wrong. And let me tell you, when you get to I'm the type of person where if I get to a good place in life, I don't even remember the struggle. Like, I just be so relieved that I'm in a better place that I don't even remember the struggle. I don't even, and maybe I, like, later on, or maybe I'll remember, moments of the struggle, but honestly, I bask in things being better. And so, and I was, I've been in the past, I've been cookie cutter. I've been the type of person where I don't want my mistakes being caught, like, editing. And I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that because God accepts me for who I am. So what do I care if I'm not accepted by others that are human just like me? That doesn't matter. The only thing that matters to me is if God accepts me. The only thing that matters to me is what God thinks, not what other people think, because we are all plagued with sin. Our capacity to commit sin and our conniving ways of justifying sin and why we did it and what for and blah blah blah. We're so strong-willed and so matter of fact on issues of the world, and I'm not on that frequency. I'm on a completely different frequency, and that's the frequency of developing my relationship with God, putting in the time, energy, and the want and desire to have a relationship with God and to get to know Him. I won't know half of Him. I won't even know 1 tablespoon of Him. But what I do want to know is how to live a righteous life, and I pray that He molds me into the woman that He's called me to be. But other than that, I feel no fear as far as what people think about me. I fear disobeying God. I fear being far from Him, and being immersed into something that pulls me from Him and relying on Him. That's what I fear, but not people and not what they think. And I think what ends up happening with me is if I'm having a bad day and if I see something, it's like, oh, like, and when, we have those thoughts of doubt and insecurity and fear, and I want to talk more about that, what the type of thoughts that we go through, that we experience. And I've been asking God, like, please, could you bless my thoughts and bless my mind and heal my mind? And he has tremendously, and I am so grateful and thankful to God. And then shout out to His Son, Jesus Christ, because without him and the sacrifice that He made, we wouldn't even be able to talk to God. We wouldn't even be able to get a prayer up there. I mean, but because He gave His life, it's like He paid it all. And so, but that doesn't mean we take advantage of that, right? It just means that we have opportunities to make it right. We have opportunities upon opportunities to turn from what we're doing and to walk down the path that He has called for us. And so, yeah, God is good. I just got off of work not too long ago. I had a really short day. I finished my training. It's getting paid way less than I've gotten paid in a while. And no, it's not been like, I would say, it was only what I was getting paid, which was the highest that I was getting paid. I only experienced that like for like, let's say 3.5 years, 4 years. And so it's been that long since I've been paid this less. And it's okay. Like, I told God that it is okay, whatever job he gives me. And I meant that. Like, it is okay. Because the point of me working is not to get the most money, to make the most money, and to burn myself out, which that's exactly what happened with me in the last profession that I was in. I got burnt out. I learned a lot. I grew a lot. I mean, my experience is heavy in that particular profession, but that's not even nothing that I want to do anymore. But I help people. I can say that I helped many people. And so that was great. And I'm glad I got to do that. Sometimes when you're doing a job, you don't get to see the ultimate, the end of all the help that a person gets. Sometimes you don't see where that person goes. Do they ever get to a place of independence? And I was able to see that. I was able to capture that. And so I'm grateful for that experience. But I'm somewhere where I never thought I would be working. And I'm okay with that. Like, I'm okay with what it is. It is truly what it is. Like, hold on. And the me before, I would have never been okay with that. Like, it would have bothered me, because you go to school, you get your degree, and you're like, I know I did not go to school and get a degree just to end up, I'm just like a different person. I have to tell you guys, like, I am just a different person right now in my life. I don't think the way I thought before. And another thing is, I work in a completely different city, so I stay with family predominantly because I work in a different city, and that has been good for me. When I was trying to look for a job and I was sitting in my apartment, it was not good for me. And sometimes you have to be somewhere different and follow up on leads. If someone says, oh, they're hiring over here, I'm telling you, just follow up. Figure it out. Call. Even if you don't put in an application, call and just check on it and just put in your effort. I promise you that God will meet you halfway. That's exactly what he did. Also, you're going to get discouraged. You're going to feel like, what is happening? Like, I'm doing all the right things. Why isn't this? You got to be patient. You got to pray for that patience. It's important to have patience because I tell God, I want to have the same patience with you that you have with me, which I could never have the same patience with God that he has with me. He allowed me to live however way I wanted to live and go through what I went through just to be led back to him. I don't have that patience. I do get frustrated. I do get mad. I do get sad. I mean, I'm a human, so I have emotions, but God is not human. So he has all the patience in the world for us. So you're going to feel discouraged, but there's nothing wrong with taking a break. Like, take a break when you're applying for jobs and you're getting no's and doors closed and, oh, we're going to go with another candidate. Don't worry about it. Take a break. Take like a week break, 2-week break, and then get back out there. And trust me, you think that the way to get a job is on Indeed? Be aware for false jobs posted on Indeed. A lot of times they just try to get your resume. And I'm not saying that's all of Indeed, but I'm saying like they monitor it the best way they know how, but nothing's perfect. And so Indeed shouldn't be your main way of getting a job. Try the company websites. When you scroll down, you should see careers. If you don't see careers, click about our company, and sometimes they have it on a different tab. And then if you're really lost and you cannot find it, there's nothing wrong with calling a chain. Like, say it's a Burger King. Call any local Burger King and ask them, hey, if I wanted to work for you guys, how would I get to your job listing? There's nothing wrong with asking. Don't be afraid to seek out help when you need it. That's what I've learned on my journey so far. Not to be afraid to ask for help and to receive help and know that you need help. Sometimes we don't even know that we need help. So those are my job tips. I write in my spare time. I am a writer. I'm going to claim that because I do write and I am a writer. I'm a poet. And I would love to read poetry on here in between me talking. And there's no structure to this. Like, I'm just coming on here just telling you about good news and the good news that God, his son, Jesus Christ, died on the cross for our sins so that we can have an opportunity to talk to God. There's no way that we will be communicating with God unless Jesus did what he did. Please believe that, because what we deserve is death. That's what we deserve. But because Jesus died on the cross, we have the opportunity to be forgiven. We have the opportunity to talk to God. So never forget that. And that's so important. Like, if you don't see how important Jesus is in this whole thing in life, then you're going to miss the only reason why God even listens to us. He would not listen to us if Jesus hadn't did what he did. We will be, everything that we do wrong, we will have to bear the consequences of every little thing that we do wrong. And we are not perfect. There's only one person that was perfect, and that was Jesus Christ. And so we would have to, like, imagine a backpack and you put rocks, and every sin is a rock. Our backs wouldn't even be able to hold up the amount of sin that we commit. But because Jesus died, that burden is lifted. Now, don't get me wrong. That doesn't mean that we could do whatever we want to do, but God gave us free will. So technically we can do whatever we want, but we shouldn't. Because I'm reading this book called Piercing the Darkness, and there's this character called Sally Beth Rowe. And basically she got into a cult, mysticism. Like, basically it's sort of like Scientology, which is believing that we are our own gods. And basically she developed this person in her head that, I guess it was for children, they call it an invisible friend. And basically it is a way for you to talk to something in your head that tells you what's okay. And basically you're relying on yourself, but you're letting in spirits in actuality. And basically, she ended up drowning her baby. And she said it wasn't her. It was something that she was communing with in her conscience. And this person supposedly took over, and that's why she did what she did. But in this book, she takes full responsibility for what she did. And she asks for forgiveness, and she is led to God and getting to know him and giving her life over to him. And that's the amazing thing about sin. Well, not the amazing thing, but the amazing thing about God's grace concerning sin is that there is no big or little sin. So what you have done, you could be forgiven for. But it isn't a green light for you to keep doing it. But God knows that we struggle with these things. So it's a tug of war, on living a righteous life and then living the way that we want to live and what we find is right or okay, because we have to convince ourselves of that. We have natural feelings. We know when something is wrong. We've heard other people do it and it be deemed wrong, the law, right? And so we get away with it, but we aren't, because it's stacking up within ourselves. And so this character is haunted by spirits, and it's the spirit of, I believe, something with mental health, the spirit of fear, the spirit of death, and it's one more I can't remember. But basically, the only way she shakes these spirits is that she starts to learn about who God is, who Jesus is. And that's all it takes, people. Just learning about who God is, who his son is, baby steps, because we won't learn who they are in its entirety, but we can learn about his grace, and we can learn about his mercy, and we can learn about how good he is and how forgiving he is and what it's like to be the light. He is the light, but we are all lights. And it's all about, what side you feed. And so I'm going to wrap this up. It's been like 26 minutes that I've been talking, but I've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed coming on here with a praise report that I got a job, a part-time job, and I'm okay. I wanted a part-time job because I wanted to start off slow. I didn't want to put too much on me. Even though the job said that there will be hours to be gotten around the holidays, and I'm telling you, this job came just in time, because I wouldn't be able to get anything in this month. I wouldn't be able to get anything. And I've been working with little, and it's been a lot for me because I've been able to turn from my addiction and just save money, basically. And I'm better for it. Now, the question that I'll leave you with is, can you do something and it not become an addiction when its very properties is for you to be addicted? Is it possible to do things and like microdosing? Let me know what you think in the comments. If you have any prayer requests, put it in the comments. And if you've made it this far in the video, you are patient already. And God bless you and your family and in your walk in your faith, your walk in faith. And I'll see you in the next video.